Hi there folks, something a little bit different today. At the weekend just gone by, we had some recovered remains of a Halifax bomber arrive at the museum. Now these were recovered some 20 years ago over in Belgium, and they've made their way home because the Halifax bomber in question, JN920, flew from RAF Snaith. So on that bombshell, let's take a closer look. Halifax JN920 took off from RAF Snaith at 17:55 hours on the 22nd of October 1943. The crew was Flight Sergeant Klaus Edwin Hall, Flight Engineer Melville Sidney Williams, Navigator George Herbert Bennett, the bomb aimer was Sergeant Edward Parker, the wireless operator Sergeant Ronald Stephen Sick, and then we have two air gunners, John Campbell Cowie and air gunner Sergeant Thomas Vardre Lewis. The mission of JN920 was to bomb Kassel in Germany, where there were various munition type factories. At approximately 8 PM the engines of Halifax JN920 were heard flying very low over Kasterlee in Belgium. The wing was on fire. It had actually been hit by German flak. Villagers saw the aircraft circling the village when the plane suddenly nosedived into the ground. Unfortunately, there were many bombs still on board and the plane exploded on impact. All crew members were killed. JN920 was a Mark II Halifax, very much like this one. I think this one's a little bit smaller. And these parts are from Halifax HR936, which also flew from RAF Snaith. And also in 1943. 1943 Bomber Command took a lot of losses. So, being a Mark II Halifax, she was powered by 4 Rolls-Royce Merlin engines. This one being from Halifax HR871. So it's a big thank you to these guys. Please check them out. I shall put some links in the description. But if it wasn't for these guys, this Halifax, or parts of, would not have returned to RAF Snaith. So, what have we got? We have a box. Now, some of these parts have been cleaned up. Some are still in bags. And I'd like to transfer them into something that we can actually, semi-organise them, because we want to make a display of this story and these recovered parts like we did with HR936. So we need to know what we've got. It'd be nice to get some part numbers and maybe find out exactly what certain parts are. Even though there's one which really is, how should I say, really nice to see and quite unique to the Halifax. Anyway, let's do a little unboxing. Okay folks, you'll have to excuse all the traffic driving past, just that time of day. So, we have I would say a bag of as recovered parts which need sorting through. And we have another bag of parts which some have been cleaned up. Will still need to be identified. So what we shall do is we'll unpack that bag first, and we'll take a look at what's in there. Then we'll take a look at this bag, and then finally folks, we're going to look in this bag. So on that bombshell, I'm going to unpack that bag and I shall bring you back when I have. So the first parts we have out of the bag, obviously an aluminium tube that's been flattened, the metal fitting in the end, which makes me think it would have been some kind of bracing framework, maybe around the engine. We also have an access flap, complete with where it came from. No idea which part of the aircraft. Not sure on that. Could be out of the wing bomb bay, but don't quote me on that one. Obviously this was bomb bay related. And then we have two pieces very similar. This is obviously some kind of latch, as you can see there. This one's broken apart, but you can see the shape of what latched in there. So I'm guessing it was from inside. Very hard to tell. Well, if you know, please comment below. Look at the paint on it. There will be part numbers here and there. So yeah, that's the first bag. Let's take a look in the second bag now, which I've not actually had a good look in. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put each part of this second bag on the table. And being fuselage. What I'll do is I'll get them all out and then we can take a closer look. Lots of small parts. part number on there, folks. Yeah, some parts are quite clean. I suspect the silver is from the internal panes. No idea what that was. Oh, now, as I mentioned, when it did crash, it still had its bomb load, and that is the weighted end of an incendiary bomb. So there's the evidence of its bomb load. Lots of small parts. Oh, now you may not pick up on camera, but those are fragments of what was known as window, and that was used to confuse the German radars. Now that's a 303 casing. It's not been fired, but there's nothing inside it. That was part of the sorry folks, I can't speak. Part of the armament for the gun turrets. And so that was fuselage. That looks like it's been painted silver inside, and it's black on the outside. Not sure what that's off. Piece of casing of something. Interesting. Looks like it was stamped there. That could be part of a cylinder head. Just more twisted metal. In 1943, I think despite air crews having to do a tour of 30 operations, I think the average was about 5 at one point. That's how many they'd do before getting the chop. A nice piece of casting. I mean, these could be from the engine, or possibly undercarriage. That definitely looks off the cylinder head. Some kind of plate. I wonder if there's anything written on there. Getting down to the small pieces now. It's like the end of a cable. Yes, to many people I suppose this just looks like scrap metal. It's something electrical. No idea what that is. It's an old piece of wood. Don't know if it's related or not. And that concludes what's in the bag, folks. Now folks, a closer look. Lots of small parts. So yes folks, that is the end of an incendiary bomb. I should have been dropped on Kassel that night. Now to defend against night fighters. How bad, folks. Anyway, we shall have a couple more items to take a look at. So, just taking a look at our Merlin engine here. Can you see this area with the 4 bolts? Well, I would say that's where it came from, folks. Yep, I would say so. So that is part of an engine, we can confirm that one. So this item, as you can see, it certainly felt the pain, but that's one of the exhaust outlets from one of the Rolls-Royce Merlin engines. I'll put a picture in now. This design was basically to help stop flames being seen coming out of the exhausts. And this was one attempt to suppress it. Very distinct shape. Unfortunately, it hit something very hard and it's been ripped off from where it mounted to the engine. But yeah, like I say folks, I'll put a picture in now. Right folks, that brings us on to the last bag. Now, all the crew members did sadly die on this night, and I know some of the crew were never recovered, which makes this quite sad because we have a piece of leather. Not sure what that was. And then we have this bag, and I'm not even sure what that is, folks. But I would like to remove it out of this bag that it's obviously been in for maybe the last 20 years and put it in a clean bag so we can actually see what it is. Respectfully move that over there. I've got a fresh bag here, which, there we go. So I think what I want to do is actually empty the bag in the bag because that's very delicate. Will it even come out? I may have to open this bag up. The reason I'm doing it in the bag, folks, is it's obviously very delicate. And I don't really want to have to lose any parts of it. Oh, Jesus. I'm not even sure what that is, folks. Could be a glove. Don't know how well that you can see on there. What do you think? It could have been a glove. Or was it a flying hat? I don't know, folks. I'll let you take a closer look. I'm not sure what it is, folks. Hard to tell. Though there is a good chance it's clothing. Well, folks, that's it for this video. Just thought I'd share the unboxing of those recovered parts of Halifax JN920. So, thanks for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing and all that jazz. Catch you on the next one.